Welcome to Zen of the Pen. Today we are going to be discussing the Retro 51. Now, Retro 51 was a company that was started in 1990 in Dallas, Texas. And the whole idea was to merge fashionable new designs with, quote, the ideals of yesteryear. So they're going for a retro look, hence the name, Retro 51. Their advertisements follow that same kind of themed retro feel. A lot of them look like they're straight out of a poster from the 1950s or 60s. In 2021, the founder retired, and that's when he brought together three collectors to actually take over the company. So these three people that are running the company now had never actually met each other until this whole getting together to buy the company and take over. And since then, they've been doing an awesome job still. The Tornado, it's called that because of this knurled kind of twister cap there. So you twist that, and that deploys your mechanism here. Now in these pens, it comes with a Rollerball. However, it's G2 refill, so you could put any G2 refill you want in there. You could get them as ballpoints or pencils as well. The other cool thing is every design you can get in a fountain pen design too. So personally, I just loved this P51 Mustang. It's a plain. And we'll go under the hood just to give you a quick look. There you go. And then we're going to jump back a little bit. All of their designs come in a really neat little box that's very kind of custom for each design in particular. So this is the P51, hence you can see the P51 design there. Now, this company's claim to fame is not so much top-of-the-line pens as it is personal pens. What I mean by that is they have an amazing variety of different designs. Now, here's some of the examples. This is from this year's Gold Spot catalog. And these are all models that were offered this year. Now, each design you could also get in a fountain pen. Now, because they are limited in edition, limited in their production, they can become something of a collector's item. Now, a lot of these designs are very intricate. Some of them are more of just a pattern on the outside and more smooth. Retro 51 works with a variety of different sponsors. So for example, they have done pens with charities, museums, art galleries, bee habitat restoration societies, animal rescue societies, even the Smithsonian and the Met. So they work with a lot of different people to put out customized personal pens in that regard. And in that sense, they can help a lot of people through their work as well. So one of the biggest pros here is you can definitely find some design that fits just what you want. All right, so now we're going to delve more into these individual pens, okay? So let's take a look here. We've got the Rollerball variant here. Now you can see that knurled twister part up here. Now they have these little designs up at the top too, kind of like a jewel. So each one's different. This one was to match some of the designs on the actual P51. But anyway, so you activate that mechanism. Like I said, you just twist that cap. So it's very easy. There's not really increasing tension. As you can see, it kind of stays where you put it, so it doesn't spring back. It just kind of stays where you are, and then you feel that hump at the very end where you just kind of engage that mechanism. So it writes fine, and you can see the designs that they put into it, right? So look at all the details. This part right there is the if you look at this picture here, that's those right there. It's like the engine exhausts. And then you've got, the painting just like you would have on the actual P51 Mustangs. You've got this right here was for a specific group of P51 fighters. And they were one of the more notable African-American squadrons. And then we've got the 51, the USA symbol. Now, if you look in here, you can see it's painted, but you can kind of tell some of the fit and finish is what is to be expected at a pen at this entry-level price point, right? So some of the red is not, kind of splattered into the recess there. It's not perfect. The yellow, same there, right? You can find examples under the clip. The red bled together, right? So we'll look over here's a little bit. The yellow didn't get in the divot there. The red didn't get in the divot there. The fit and finish is kind of what's to be expected at a pen at this price point. It's nice, but it's noticeable blemishes here and there. I do like, however, on this model, I really like how they recessed the plates, and the rivets are a really cool thing too. Those are recessed as well. So that was extra stamping, and that was really cool. Now we're going to hop over to the fountain pen variant. Okay, so we can see the same body designs, right? We've got the recessed plating. You can see the recessed stamped rivets, as it were. You can see you've got that same hallmark of that unit. Tuskegee Airmen, I want to say it was. And then you've got the, exhaust up here. You've got your crown jewel up there. They kept the knurled look. The cap is nice. It's weighty. It's steel, just like the rest. Now, most of these are going to be a lacquer finish, but this one is stamped with just a little bit of adornment because they're going for that metal look. And at that price point, it's kind of what you'd expect. It's good for what it is. And at that price point, especially the individuality is still something to be appreciated, even if the paint and fit and finish isn't, perfect. All right, so the cap does post. However, you know me, I don't typically post my caps. And that is especially so because one of the biggest cons of this pen is it has plastic threads on the inside of the metal cap. So what that means is when you are screwing it onto the metal threads here, the plastic will give way over time. Now, depending on your design, that might not be a big deal. However, if you look at this design, it is very clearly meant to match up with those seams, right? And I have been very gentle with these seams, knowing that they're plastic since the moment I bought it. And still, when I give it just that extra little push to actually seal it, even slightly decently so, I'm already off of alignment. And people who aren't paying attention and are going to seal this well. Like, this is just barely sealed. Like, I could definitely torque it and get some more air tightness out of it. But, again, I'm going to ruin those threads faster and faster with use. So I'm really trying not to over tighten this, even if my inks are going to dry out a little bit faster. I don't always use this, but just something to note. This is a con. It's in the cap. The plastic threads are, I guess, the biggest downfall of this pen, and that's something I wish they really would address. That goes back to posting, because another reason I don't post this is because you're imparting pressure on those threads. So plastic threading on the cap, one of the bigger cons. All right, let's look at the pen itself. The pen we talked about that stainless steel body. It's got a flat end up there. And the grip is nice. It's more or less standard for fountain pens where it's a tapered grip down to a flare. So it's not concave, but it's tapered down to a flare. Your hands can index themselves nicely as far as that goes. The pen is still long enough it reaches the crook of my hand. So again, I don't need to post it, which is nice. The nib itself is stamped with the 51 marking. You'll have to excuse some of my ink staining there. But it is stamped with the 51. It's a nice enough nib. This is a medium. It writes a little bit thicker than a medium. It's very juicy. So I would say it's closer to a medium bold, maybe even a bold if you're comparing it to Japanese pens. So, from what they say, it's a little bit thicker, I would say, than as they list it. Or it's definitely, as you would say, an American medium. The nibs themselves are Yovo nibs, so you can go ahead and replace these nibs to your heart's content with the aftermarket variety out there. Let's go ahead and look under the hood. So you could do a cartridge or a converter. As you know, I prefer converters. It's a nice converter. It holds a decent amount of ink, certainly, way more than a Con 40. So let's go ahead and take a look at our pros and cons of this pen. Here we go. All right, so the pro is the price, right? It is an entry-level pen, so it is inexpensive to get into. For the price, these are very nice nibs. If I have a friend who wants to try a fountain pen, I'm not going to hand them my 743 or my Mag 600. I hand them this or a Vanishing Point. This is inexpensive enough. I can hand this to someone. I don't need to worry if they're going to use and abuse it. And the pro, again, is that body is steel, right? So even if they do use and abuse it a little bit, it's a steel body. I'm not really worried. It's pretty durable, so that's nice. The grip is nice. It's got kind of a standard tapered grip, so the grip is a pro. And the designs. The designs are the biggest pro here because there is so much uniqueness in each design, and there's bound to be one just for you. Another pro is it could be a fountain pen or a ballpoint or a G2 refill, we'll say. So that's really cool that you can get these in fountain pen or G2. One more pro too is the packaging is very nice. So these would make for an excellent gift, especially if you're just getting someone into the pen world. These are very specific, very unique to that individual, and the packaging makes for a wonderful gift experience. Now we're going to talk about some of the cons. The cons are the fit and finish leaves a little to be desired. Like I pointed out on mine, right? You can see some of the areas where the paint was, kind of etched into those recesses where it shouldn't have been. And that goes across both of my models. But at the price point, it's an inexpensive pen, so it's kind of what's to be expected at that price point, right? Another con to this particular one, maybe not other designs, you can see where the nib and grip screw into the body. The 51 is upside down. And personally, that just really, really irks me. You know, if they had just done a little bit of extra homework and they had made it like that when I was writing with the nib up, then I would be much more pleased. But I just thought that was kind of, I mean, it's not horrible. It doesn't make or break the pen, but it's just annoying to me personally. It irks me. And it's just going back to that little bit of extra care they could have put into the fit and finish, and that's a con. The other con is the threads on the fountain pen version are plastic, and that results in deformation over time. So these threads do not properly align after time and after a little bit of use. I've been super gentle because I know about this problem, and you can see even when I tighten it airtight, it's those areas don't align perfectly anymore. So over time, if you're really, actually using it and trying to get an airtight seal, the plastic threads are going to go ahead and lose some of their consistency, and that's going to result in misalignment on your pen if it has a design where that matters. These Retro 51 Tornadoes, whether it be your Rollerball over here or your fountain pen variant over here, are really nice entry-level pens. And by entry level, I mean less than $50. So if you're looking to spend that entry level market, these are a great option. They have metal bodies, and they have so many different styles and colors and finishes that there's bound to be one for you. Another cool thing is, because they're so unique and they change these models out every year, you could have ascending prices for the ones that become popular. So that's another cool aspect for collectors. Now the cons here, the fit and finish is a little bit lacking. It could be a little bit nicer, especially on the detail in the painting that I've found. And if you get the fountain pen variant, the plastic threads under the metal cap mean that over time you're going to lose some of your alignment, and that could result in the aesthetics of a misaligned seam like you see here. So that is something that personally irks me. And it just goes back to that little bit of, they could improve those tiny areas there. That said, they're great writers, okay? They're very unique. When you pull it out, then people take notice, and it really speaks to something about you when you have an individualized pen, right? I love aviation and history, so the fact that I've got P51 pens, that's really cool to me. And when my friends see that, they're like, wow, that's really neat. Speaking of that, if you're looking to enable anyone and you're trying to get them into a nice pen and you want to get them into our world, Retro 51 is a fantastic idea because, again, they're not going to break the bank. The presentation is really nice as far as each box is kind of custom made for that design. And it's going to get your friend a really good writing experience, right? The Rollerball that comes with this is really nice and smooth. The fountain pen nib that comes with this is a nice steel nib for that price point, and it writes really well. So I would not hesitate to get this for a gift for a friend that I might want to try and get into the nicer pen world. Overall, I love the unique designs of these pens. The fit and finish, a little bit lacking, but I do want to keep these around for a little bit just because of the unique designs. And hopefully, maybe down the road, they might appreciate and value a little bit, and then maybe I'll let them go at that point. But until then, I'm keeping these around because I think they are a pretty cool addition to the collection, even though they're still an entry-level pen. Thank you very much for sticking with us on this review of the Retro 51. I hope you have kind of learned some things about the company and the pen along the way. Maybe you'll know better now if it's something that you want to invest in or get as a gift for someone else. We hope you have a great day, and as always, may your journey lead to serenity.